ABBA wasn't just a pop group, they were a cultural wave. 4 young Swedes, 2 real-life couples, and one sound that wrapped itself around the world. From Dancing Queen to Mamma Mia, their songs were glitter and melody with a steel backbone of songwriting craft. They had charm, style hooks, for days. And then suddenly, the music stopped, the smiles faded, the chemistry soured, and fans were left asking what really ended ABBA. After decades, the story of how it all came apart is finally clear. Before they were ABBA, each member had a path of their own. Agnia Feldskog was the prodigy. Born in Jönköping in 1950, she was only 18 when Jaguar Sår hit #1 in Sweden, selling more than 80,000 copies. She kept writing and recording in the homegrown Schlager style and released 4 solo albums between 1968 and 1971. Björn, obvious born in 1945 in Gothenburg, was already a name by 18 with the Huttinani Singers, a folk skiffle group. He dabbled in English-language songs and a brief solo stint. In 1966, he met Benny Andersson, and together they wrote Isn't It Easy to Say, which the Hepstars' Benny's band went on to record. Their manager, Stig Andersson, saw a goldmine in their partnership and pushed them hard to write. Benny Andersson, born in Stockholm in 1946, joined the Hepstars at 18. They were so big in Sweden, they were called the Swedish Beatles. Benny played keys and penned hits like Sunny Girl and Wedding. He even launched a business arm, Hep House, inspired by the Beatles. Apple Coors, in 1969 during Festivalen, he met the velvet-voiced Annie Fred Lindqvist. Frida. That same year, Björn and Agnetha met on a TV special and married in 1971. The personal ties were set before the brand was born. The two couples took a trip to Cyprus in 1970, and fooling around on the beach ended up singing a set for UN soldiers, an accidental first gig. Meanwhile, Benny and Björn were cutting their debut joint album Lycka, with Agnetha and Annie Frid adding backing vocals. That summer, they tried out a cabaret-style show, Festfolk, Party People, Engaged Couples, opening in Gothenburg in November 1970. Reviews were harsh except for one number, Hey Gambler Man, Hello Old Man, featuring all 4 voices. It rose to number 5 in Sweden and number 1 on Svensktoppen Radio. Even as the stage show stalled, the studio work deepened through 1971. They increasingly sang on one another's tracks. Björn, Agnia, and Benny toured while Frida performed solo. The musical bond and the private one tightened. In 1972, their song Seg Ditt Med Song placed 3rd at Melodifestivalen, sung by Lena Andersson, but became a hit anyway. An unexpected twist followed. She's My Kind of Girl, a Björn and Benny track, hit the top 10 in Japan. The music was traveling before the group had a name. In 1972, the quartet released People Need Love. For the first time, the women were fully up front, and in the US, it even scraped the charts, though their tiny American label couldn't push it. The credit line, Björn and Benny, Agnetha and Annie Fred, was a mouthful. In 1973, Stig Andersson started using ABBA, the first initials of Agnia, Björn, Benny, and Annie Fred. There was a snag. ABBA was also a Swedish fish canning company. Permission was granted so long as the pop group didn't tarnish the name. They entered Malawi Festival 1973 with Ring Ring recorded in both Swedish and English with producer, engineer, Michael B. Tutoto. They embraced a bold wall of sound approach. English lyrics came via Neil Sedaka and Phil Cody. The song placed 3rd, but the Ring Ring album broke across parts of Europe and South Africa. Around then, Agnetha gave birth to her daughter and missed a quick trip to West Germany. Someone else filled in for appearances. The ABBA name first appeared on paperwork in October 1973. Someone literally crossed out the file-long credit line and wrote ABBA in big letters. In 1976, a now iconic logo emerged with a backward B facing a forward B, born during a Bravo magazine photo shoot, when Benet accidentally held his letter the wrong way. The photographer loved it. The mirrored B stayed. Fans first saw the logo on a French Golden Double album, and later Polygram created its own variant. By 1992, ABBA Gold even sported a crown. After Universal took over, the original mark returned. Name sound. Look, the brand was fully formed. Despite momentum, 1973 didn't deliver a breakthrough. Still, Stig believed Eurovision could prove they were not just performers, but writers. Invited back for 1,974, the band came armed with Waterloo, a cheeky glam-tinted pop rocket. They won Melode Festival on February 9th. Then on April 6, 1974, took Eurovision in Brighton, singing in English. They celebrated in the hotel's Napoleon suite, fitting. Waterloo hit number 1 in 9 European countries, went top 10 in Australia, Canada, France, and reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. Reviews in the US warmed cream, and the Los Angeles Times praised the Waterloo album. But the real test lay ahead. Could they follow it? Post-Waterloo Honey Honey reached number 27 in the US. Meanwhile, the UK reissued Ring Ring, which stalled outside the top 30, prompting talk of a 1H hit wonder. A late one, 974 European tour, Denmark, Germany, Austria, saw weak sales. A Switzerland date was cancelled, but 1,975 in Scandinavia flipped the script, sold out halls. We tried to be like the Sweet Bajorn, later said, which was silly. We were a pop group. A corrective came with SOS, number 6, UK, No One, Germany, Australia, and Mamma Mia, No One, UK, Australia, Germany. In the US, SOS and I Do, reached number 15. Mamma Mia peaked at 32, slowly building their American base. Albums lagged behind singles there, but the tide was turning. Early 1976 greatest hits gave ABBA their first UK No from 71 album and went top 50 in the US. It contained a new single, Fernando, which became a global giant. No, won in over 13 countries. More than 10 million sold, 14 weeks, at number 1 in Australia, and 40 weeks on its chart, a record that held for decades. In the US, it hit number 13 and topped adult contemporary. Then came Arrival, a critical and commercial peak. No One across Europe and Australia. No. 3 in Canada and Japan and US. Top 20 with gold certification. It spun off heavy hitters. Money, 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 Knowing Me, Knowing You and Dancing Queen. That last one conquered practically everywhere, including a BBAS only US No One by 19 and 7,677. South Africa listed. Fernando, Dancing Queen and Knowing Me, Knowing You among the top 20 best-selling singles. In January 1977, ABBA launched their first major tour, opening in Oslo, stopping in Berlin, Amsterdam, and 2 sold-out nights at Royal Albert Hall. Reviews split. Cream praised. Melody Maker pined for more stage presence. Australia, though, was a frenzy. 11 concerts for 160,000 fans. One Sydney show with 20,000 in its reign. Frida even slipped later, recalled as unforgettable. Melbourne saw 6,000 at Town Hall and 16,000 more outside. Adelaide drew 20,000 in the venue and 10,000 outside. Perth had a bomb scare show still went on. Variety likened the attention to a royal tour, and Lasse Hallström captured it in ABBA, the movie. The glare had a cost, especially for Agnetha, often labeled the pin. One cheeky headline, read Agnetha's bottom top stole show. After her white jumpsuit set tongues wagging, she shot back. Don't they have bottoms in Australia? Humor on the surface, discomfort underneath. By December 1977, ABBA, the album, and ABBA, the movie arrived. Critics in the UK were cool. Fans weren't. The Name of the Game and Take a Chance on Me dominated. The latter even outperformed Dancing Queen in parts of North America. Eagle and the unreleased, as a single, Thank You for the Music, became lifelong favorites. No One albums rolled in Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, and the UK. In Poland, it sold over 1 million. In Russia, demand outstripped supply. In 1978, they reinvested, converting an old Stockholm cinema into Polar Music Studio. Soon, a magnet for major acts, Genesis, Led Zeppelin, they issued the disco-tinged Summer Night City, a tricky recording that still hit big. In 1979, they performed Chiquitita at the Music for UNICEF concert and gave the royalties to UNICEF then and now. It topped 10 countries, but private life fractured. In January 1979, Bjorn and Agnetha announced their divorce. They vowed the band would continue and fled to the Bahamas to write in peace. The result changed their sound. April 1, 1979 brought Vuelvu, recorded partly in Miami with engineer Tom Dow. It pulsed with dance floor energy and went no one across Europe. Japan, Mexico, Chiquitita, and I Have a Dream reached number 2 in the UK. Does Your Mother Know and Angel Eyes hit the top 5? Gimme Gimme Gimme, A Man After Midnight exploded in Greatest Hits, Volume 2, topped in the UK. Canada, Japan, in the USSR, where hard currency was restricted. ABBA's popularity was so immense that royalties were reportedly settled in oil. They kicked off ABBA the Tour in September 1979 in Edmonton, selling out 17 North American shows. Agatha missed one US date. Severe flight anxiety after a rough landing. But the run closed triumphantly before 18,000 in Toronto. U.S. critics praised the laser-precise vocals. 1,980 brought Japan. 11 concerts, 6 sold-out nights at Budokan, their last tour. That year, they released The Winner Takes It All. Fans heard the echo of Bjorn and Agnetha's split. Both insisted it wasn't literal autobiography, but the timing was unmistakable. It became their 8th UK No One and a U.S. top 10. The album Super Trooper pre-sold over 1 million, set a record, and the title track topped the UK, while Lay, All Your Love on Me ruled us dance charts. A Spanish-language set, Gracias por la Musa, flourished in Latin America and Japan. Then more upheaval. In 1981, Bjorn married Lena Keller. The music darkened as the emotions did. Their 8th album, The Visitors, was mature, reflective, and bruised. One of us hit number 3 in the UK. When all